Alright, so we picked up this 2005 GMC DURAMAX for cheap because it wasn't running. It's an LLY, which is similar to the LB7, but this one has the injectors outside the valve covers and it has a little bit different turbo on it. This one in particular has a shredded wiring harness because it got caught up in the front drive shaft when it was spinning, and it decided to take all the fuel lines and the fuse box with it when it went out. But the price was right, and I think it's still got a lot of life left in it, so we're going to fix it. Here we go. Okay, so I decided the old harness was definitely too far gone. I bought one. This goes between the ECM and the engine. It goes down to the transmission. It connects to the transmission control module. So this is basically the most important harness on the truck. It came from a 2500. I believe it's the same. We're going to find out here in a second though when I go to put it on. So I'm connecting the transmission controller plugs here, and I thought for some reason the plugs were different from the truck that the donor harness came from, but as you can see, those red ends go on this plug, and they go plug into the transmission control module. They hold all the pins in the plug, and those were actually stuck in the transmission control module from the old harness, so I had to kind of fish those out. And now I don't know why they put this here connected to the radiator. It seems like a very hot place to put a computer, but now the plugs go in. If I can get it in. Come on. I think that's in. And then there's one more that goes in the bottom there. That's already plugged in. And that looks correct. So now this part of the harness, as you can see, it's plugged into the engine. And then the other end goes down to the transmission, and this hooks to the bottom of the fuse panel. Okay, so slowly making progress on this. As you can see, the fuse panel is in. Gotta figure out where that goes to. But fuse panel is in. All the major plugs are connected on the bottom. Obviously, the fender liner still needs to go in. Got the wire harness on the top of the engine for the alternator and the AC compressor. This goes down to the transmission. So what I'm going to do next is bring the truck up in the lift, get underneath, and then hook up all of that stuff underneath the truck. Okay, so this seems to be a recurring theme here, but this is another plastic piece that got broken off. I guess when everything just got yanked so hard, they just stayed. But that is the end of that plug, and the old one was stuck in. This is the neutral safety switch. Now I got it plugged in there, but the old one was stuck in there, and I thought it was different again. But fish that out of there, and now this plugged into the transmission, and this goes to something on the transfer case, I believe, because I cannot figure out where it goes. I've plugged everything else in on the transmission. This one goes around, and would you guess what's happening here? We got another broken plug. So that pin's bent. I'm going to try to bend it back and push it in. If that doesn't work, I have to pull the pan and replace the harness inside the transmission. Hopefully I don't have to do that, but we'll see here in a minute. Okay, so that's plugged in, but it is leaking transmission fluid, so I do have to pull the pan and replace it, but we're going to do that later. This is what I was talking about earlier. So the front drive shaft runs right through here, and that is where that harness is. This is where that ring terminal went earlier, so it goes to the back of the starter pane to get to, but I got it on there. So that is what activates the starter solenoid when you click the key right up in there. It's kind of hard to see. There it is, the little wire there. Went all the way down the whole other side of the engine, and had to fish it down in there and tie it up good. Of course, one wire has to go all the way around the other side, because why not? Okay, so another thing I failed to mention at the beginning of the video was when the wiring harness got ripped out, it actually decided to rip all the fuel lines out with it. It actually tore the fuel lines in half. I just twisted them around the drive shaft. So I actually bought all, these are stainless steel fuel lines. The original ones are just steel. So I got all of those stainless steel fuel lines installed so that we could do a try to start the truck for the first time here. And I also put the rear drive shaft in because for some reason the guy took them out and he lost these clips that hold it on, so I had to get new ones. Of course, all this little stuff like that just takes so much time to track all those little parts down. But I got it all together. Fuel lines are in, so we're gonna get up top and see if it will turn over and possibly start. Okay, one more thing that has to be done before we start the truck, because these are new fuel lines. The fuel system has to be primed, or else you get a whole bunch of air in your injectors and it will not start. So what you're going to do is, this is the fuel filter. You're going to prime this bulb here. You're going to loosen that plastic cap, screw, whatever you want to call it there, and prime it until fuel comes out with no bubbles, and then tighten it back down and you should be good to go. That is how you bleed the air. I just want you guys to know that this truck has been sitting for over a year, and I just slapped all this wiring harness stuff back on it, and I just bumped the key and it started. So if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. Okay, so it's the end of the day here, and I think today might be the day I lose my mind, because I gotta put this all the way back together now. And that includes the harness that is ripped in half on the back of the truck, which I saved for last because I don't want to do it. I mean, just look at it. Trying to figure out where all of these go is going to be a literal nightmare. So, but today's the day. Who knows how long it's going to take me, but we gotta get that connected to this. Okay, so I don't even know what I'm doing at this point anymore. I got the whole thing ripped apart. I have it plugged into the fuse panel because I have to test what wires go to what, because the wonderful engineers put multiple of the same exact color wires in here, and you can't find a wiring diagram for this truck, for this harness. Anywhere I looked, I cannot find it anywhere, so we have resorted to trial and error. So pretty much hook a wire up, does the left turn signal do the left turn signal? Yes, okay, go to the next wire. And that's what I have done, and I am left with all of those hooked up. I'm left with 2 of the same color blue, 3 of the same color purple, and 1 ABS wire that goes somewhere I haven't figured out yet. So yeah, now I gotta figure out where those go.